Hi, I'm Susan Ballerstedt, your garden manager at Blackacre Community Gardens. I am here this afternoon to talk about frost. The frost is the forming of ice crystals and it can kill your tender plants. Tender plants are plants that cannot take a freeze at all. We also in the garden have hardy plants. Now hardy plants like your greens, your onions, your cabbage, cauliflower, those kind of plants can take a frost. So you don't have to do anything for them. But your tender crops, you think of your summer crops, a pizza, that kind of thing, those foods, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, okra, green beans, all those, they will die with a frost. So, but you can save them, and we are going to talk about different ways to save them. We're going to go visit some garden plots who have already prepared for the frost and show you what they have done, and then we'll show a few others. So, in preparation for a frost, on the eve before a frost, you want to water your ground so that the sunlight will heat up the water and do that. And then you want to cover your plants. Here, she has covered her plants with a bucket. It's inside of a wire so it won't blow away. And she has mulch around the plant. All those will help protect. So she's watered, she's mulched, and she's covered with a bucket, which will all help protect it. That is one method. If you use these containers to put them around your plant, let's pretend this is a little plant there, and you'll put it in and push it down in the dirt. But if the big wind comes, it'll blow it right off. So you would still want to weight it down, and then the wind will hold it down, and it will be good for the day. But here's the thing with this. They can't stay in the garden. When it's over and you take it off, you can't throw it to the side. You can't leave the sticks, bricks, rocks in the garden. I have had anywhere from slabs of marble to bricks to stone to all kinds of things when we try to till, and does terrible things to our equipment. So you must remove it after this danger of frost and put it in an appropriate recycle place or recycle place. If you see any blowing around on the edge or in the path or just looking unclaimed and lonely, please pick it up and put it into our recycle places. Here is another example of covering. They have made coverings out of clear jars and buried the soil around it so the wind won't blow it away, or of clear plastic cups. With that, you do not have to remove them unless the temperature gets above 60 degrees, because otherwise then it would bake the plant. You don't want to do it. But while it's cold for the next 3 days, these are perfect. So here is an example of our tender flowers that we are growing here in our hummingbird garden. I am going to put a stake in it so that the cloth doesn't cover it. And this is where you do a sheet drop cloth. So this is just an old sheet that we no longer use. I've got the stake and I have it go down and touch the ground, and that will help hold in the heat and keep it off the plants. And then the next day when the sun comes out, I will remove it. Another method, if you have plenty of boxes, you can take it, leave the flaps out, lay the box over your plant, and then take and put dirt or bricks or something around to hold the box down, and that will be good for just for overnight because it blocks all the sun. You do not want to leave it for multiple days. This is another method using a plastic drop cloth. There's a couple things done well with this. They have used buckets over some of the plants to hold the cloth, the plastic cloth, above the plants. If the plastic cloth touches the plant, for example, right here the cloth is touching a plant, when it touches the plant, it will freeze as though there is no cloth on it. So it has to be elevated above. Almost all of it is elevated, but just this one little plant right here, and that's an easy fix with just putting another bucket there. And then you want to hold down all the edges so that it traps in the heat from the soil. So you don't really want the wind to be able to get under and blow it and let the heat escape. The whole point of this is to capture the heat of the earth to keep the plants a couple degrees warmer so they will not freeze. Here is an example of a gardener that does not have to cover anything because every plant that he has planted here is a cold hardy plant. I believe he told me he was going to plant his tomatoes and peppers next week after the frost. So we also have the black plant tubs here available for you to use to cover your plants. They're here by the gray shed. Pick up as many as you need, and then you may keep them for next year, or you may return them back here when you are done. Also, if you miss covering and doing anything about getting the frost and you wake up and you realize it's frosted and it's frozen, if you come out before the sun touches the plant, so very, very early in the morning, and you spray it off with water, you may save your plant. So that's a way, if you've missed it and you realize, oh my gosh, if you spray it off with water, you may save it. So just for a fun fact, on record, the last frost date of the year was 1961 on May 27th. It was 36 degrees and frosted. So even though it may frost in a few nights, we are not the record. The record was in 1961 on May 27th. So our tip of the day is how to save your tender crops from the frost. Thank you and have a blessed day.